because I want to show you where I am. Yeah, remember here we stopped last time on Captain Keeney. Remember, this is the main idea in this play, as I said, is actually the idea or the theme or the main really issue of determinism, which is, the real free will, or the act of, sometimes people might think of it maybe as single-mindedness, maybe stubbornness, maybe, sometimes in a negative way, or even to like control, maybe domination, maybe suppression, maybe oppression, and so on. So you can think of all these terms, but really Keeney is not interested in all those maybe far-fetched negatives. He is just saying that, I want to have my ship full of oil. That's the whole idea. And of course, it's to do with his own, again, reputation, his name, because he's worried about his name, about his reputation. And, for a man, for anybody, I think for a captain, for anybody in society in like a well-known position, or be it in politics, or being in society, or being even in a tribal society, people worry about their own stature and their own social position and so on. So Captain Keeney, in a way, he was following his own idiosyncratic ideas, if you like. The word idiosyncrasy, maybe something like, those crazy streaks of character, someone who's maybe weird in his own behavior or something. So Keeney is this, in a way, to think like that, especially in his treatment of his wife, because his wife, really, Mrs. Keeney, went nearly crazy because she wants to go back home, and he will not budge. He will not budge. Budge in Arabic? We have a very good word in Arabic, in colloquial Syrian. Budge means, someone who will not move 1 inch from his position. And we say, ma yitzahzah. Huh? Maybe I don't know what they say in Oman, but never mind. Our friend Keeney is this character who is really unbelievably decided. And this is again the question of will and free will. I think this is maybe to some extent a reflection of sometimes the will to power, and power is will. And here we're not talking about politics in power, but really everything can be explained here in this idea of power, to say you want to do what you want, you want to do what you think. And the question of the will, as I said, it can be interpreted as negative, or in negative interpretation, or negatively or positively. Now, normally the will, or your will, normally is done, or is executed, or is always performed or functioned in terms of your own personal maybe good. And Captain Keeney, really, he's here practicing his will, and which is again, like as I say here, we say free will, because he is the captain and he's the law. Because he said, later he said, you shall see, he said, I am the law here. I am the captain, and in the law, or the sea law, if you like, maybe like a martial law in the army or something, There are special cases when captains or the leaders or the general of the army, for example, and so on, he will be the law. And as if to say, you know, the law is embodied in him. Whatever he says is the law. And sometimes you may say, well, this is exaggerated and we don't think this is true. But you see, in circumstances like this here, see, the captain, yes, is the leader of the ship and he is the law. And no one can, you know, if you like, can challenge his position. And that's their mistake. Their mistake, they thought that they'll go, as they say, they will go against him, you know? And that's really what made him absolutely crazy. And here what they, the speech where we stopped last time, because they said they want to say something to him. And here he said, you know, asking them, okay, come on. Notice here, Keeney, I think I stopped like last time here. Keeney, here it comes, the trouble you spoke of, Mr. Slocum, and we'll make a short shift of it. It's better to crush such things at the start than let them make headway. And you know, I think this is true. Sometimes if you really feel that there are problems coming ahead, you better, I think it's better to stop it as early as possible and not let it, you know, go beyond control. And that's what it means here. And notice what he said, short shift of it. We will make a short shift of it. Meaning, you know, the whole scene will be cut very short. And because the word shift, really the word shift means here in this way, it's the period of time where you will be, for example, working from 8 to 9 or from 12 to 2 or whatever. This kind of period of work, like 8 hours or 6 hours, we call this as a shift, a work shift, as we say in Arabic, nobat amal, right? And here he's saying, I'm going to make this, you know, very short scene. I will cut it short and the whole thing will be finished. And the mate said, shall I wake up the first and fourth, sir? We might need their help. Here he means first and fourth, you know, the other men, the other characters or workers who are, you know, the close aides to the captain. And Keeney said, no, let them sleep. I am well able to handle this alone, Mr. Slocum. Again, notice here, to handle this alone. I can do it myself even. I don't need anybody. There is the shuffling of footsteps from outside, and 5 of the crew crowd into the cabin, led by Joe. All are dressed alike, sweaters, sea boots, etc. They glance uneasily at the captain, twirling their fur caps in their hands. You know, to twirl? The word twirl, really here it's showing disrespect to the captain, because you know these men are wearing caps. You know, these fishermen caps. Actually, I have one here myself, and I like them. I wear them sometimes. You know, and they were making them like that. And I think this is very, very bad thing to show to your master, and to behave like this, as if who cares about. I think this is, you know, in a way, as I said, impolite to show this to the captain. But because they thought they are going to go against him or like in mutiny, and that's, you know, as we shall see here, what they said, twirling. And Captain Keeney, of course, looked at them. Well, who is to speak for you? Joe, stepping forward with an air of bravado. Look at the verb here, the word bravado, which is like in Italian word means brave, you know, as if he walked in a brave manner. Bravado. IB. Look at this word, IB. I think this is funny English, isn't it? IB. Instead of saying I am, or, use the word I be. And I think here really O'Neill, as I told you, Eugene O'Neill, he's a great writer really in every sense. The way he uses his English really. Notice Keeney eyeing him up and down coldly. Look at the verb eyeing. As I told you before, I told you this before, in verbs. And I think this is really nice word through the eyes, definitely. But you see, he didn't say be, huh? So you be. Then speak, trying not to wilt before the captain's glance and avoiding his eyes. Wilt, I like this verb. Meaning terrible, weak boy, and immediately will crumble down. And notice he said, the time, Keeney, look at the word Keeney, ice, very cold and very see. The
Doctor, your sound is not clear.
Saying, yeah, you're not coming back. We can't see this. You're coming back. No. I ain't going. Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost connection. I don't know why. Anyway, here we see the captain as, yeah, on page 66, what I was reading. Okay. So here the captain saying, no, I ain't going to till this ship is full of oil. Joe, you can't go on further to the north with the ice for you. You know, as if to say, you know, we can't go up north because everywhere you have ice. Keeney said the ice is breaking up. Joe, after a slight pause, during which the others mumble angrily to one another, the grub way, it's good enough for you. Better men than are have eaten worse. But there is a chorus of angry support. We ain't going to work no more, less you puts back for home. Again, notice the funny English again you're using here, you puts back for home, meaning we are not going to do any work unless you start going back home. Again, Keeney, you ain't you? Jaws right. Again, here using the word was, we was, to say as, you know, in a singular sense, to say as one voice. And again, here you can see really what Keeney, to hell with your courts. We are at sea and I am the law of this ship. You see, this is the one I was saying to you. To hell with your law courts. We are at sea now, and I think that's right, absolutely correct. I am the leader of this ship, and I am the law. Whatever I say is the law. Now, Keeney here is not exaggerating, because in many countries in the world, they believe that and they do this. Edging towards the harpooner, and every mother's son of you who notice here, again, I think this is very nice expression. I think really very nice. Every mother's son of you look at that. Every mother's son of you. Hello?
Yes, doctor.
What does it mean here? Every mother's son of you. Every mother's son of you, what don't obey orders goes in irons.
Like they are
Anybody?
the sons of their mother.
Yeah, I mean, how do you say that? I mean, how do you really, what does it mean? Yeah, every mother's son of you. What is this? Is this a kind of swearing or kind of threatening or a kind of, you know, cursing or what?
Like underestimating, no, like
Ismail?
like the as if he is saying that if the cowards are going to
Yeah.
be like, when he says every mother's son of you, as if he's saying like the coward one of you.
Yeah, very good. Yes. Yeah, well, you came really close, meaning you are your mother's son, if you are your mother's son, means enough. It's very nice. يلي واحد منكم ابن أمه، يلي أي واحد منكم ابن أمه يتجرأ يعمل كذا كذا كذا. يلي boys. My God, where are you?
Yes, doctor, we are here.
Well,
Hello, doctor.
I don't hear anyone except you.
I don't know.
إسماعيل Sultan.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
حسبي Allah. I don't know what's wrong today with this connection.
It is fine now, doctor. We can hear you.
Yeah, I was shouting and nobody heard me, and I was talking to you boys and nobody answered. And anyway, now you are okay? Yeah. So here they say to him in a threatening way, they say, then we are going to mutiny and take the old hooker home ourselves. Now, notice here the idea when he's saying, he threatening them by saying every mother at the others. Keeney first shoots out the side of his jaw. So Joe goes down in a heap and lies there. Mrs. Keeney gives a shriek and hides her face in her hands. The men pull out their sheath knives and start a rush, but stop when they find themselves confronted by the revolver of Keeney and the mate. Keeney, his eyes and voice snapping. Hold still. Stop. And notice here, immediately into the side, he said, the side of his jaw, one blow was enough to, drop Joe down, as he say, like in a heap. You know the word heap? As if to say something really lying like, something like even not even human, like pieces of, whatever. And, when he's saying to them, stop this, and everybody was really huddled, notice. They stand huddled together in a sullen silence. Keeney's voice is still of mockery. Of course, he's laughing at them. Mockery, notice. You have found it ain't safe to mutiny on this ship, ain't you? Saying you are not going to find it easy to go to mutiny. To mutiny here, to go to disobey my orders. You will never be able to do it here in this ship. With me, you can never do that. And now get forward there where you belong. Meaning go to your work, otherwise I'm going to kill you all. He gives Joe's body a contemptuous kick. He kicked him because Joe was lying on the ground. Drag him with you. And remember, the first man of you I see shrinking, I will shoot dead, as sure as there is a sea under us. And you can tell the rest the same. Meaning, if you ever do anything funny, I'm going to shoot you live. And I will real shooting, real, that's what he means. I will shoot dead. Means I will really shoot you. When cowed silence. Look at the word cowed. Here again, really, it's a lovely huddled together and puts the sulking tricks. We will have to keep an eye peeled from now on. I know them. To keep an eye peeled, meaning we have to open our eyes and see what they are. Have I lost connection again?
No, doctor.
Okay. Notice, may sir, yes, sir. He goes out, right. Keeney hears his wife's Keeney putting on. There, Mrs. Keeney shrinking away from him. Oh, I can't bear it. I can't bear it any longer. Keeney gently, can't bear it, Annie. Mrs. Keeney hysterically. And this prison cell of a room, and the ice all around, and the silence. Now, really, we understand what Mrs. Keeney is saying. Yes, she feels all this, brutality. The brutes here, she means all these men as being treated like animals. And this ship is, the terrible ship. And this room where I am is like a prison cell. And the ice everywhere and the silence, all these negatives, for her was really terrible. After this outburst, she calms down and wipes her eyes with her handkerchief. Keeney, after a pause during which he looks down at her with a puzzled frown. Remember, I weren't hankering to have you come on this voyage, Annie. I think this is a lovely word here. Say, I weren't hankering to have you come on this voyage. Hankering, what's this? I weren't hankering. I think this is a funny word, really. I don't know. Do you know the word hanker? Hankering around? I think this is a very colloquial slang American word, as if to say, like a small boy who always runs after his for a boy. If you beg someone so many times, like wives begging husband, you say, come on, I beg you to means, why do you say this? Remember, it's lovely. I wanted to be with you, David, don't you see? يا رجال انت اعمى اعمى انت يا رجل. I wanted in the home all alone, as I have been doing there last 6 years since we were married. Hey, man, I can't wait any longer. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the last 6 years. Waiting and watching and fearing, with nothing to keep my mind occupied, not able to go back teaching school on account of being Dave Keeney's wife. I think I like this. Really, Mrs. Keeney is absolutely correct. She's saying, come on, I'm your wife. And you have been always traveling, and I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I can't wait anymore. I want to be with you, watching, fearing, waiting and waiting. And here the idea, watching, fearing, waiting, waiting. I want, wow. I think loving wife, the good wife, to be with her man, to help him, to be with him, be in everything, his helpmate in everything, or as we say, helpmeet in everything. And she's unlucky. It turned out that the whole, weather is terrible. But Mrs. Keeney here is not exaggerating. Mrs. Kini is absolutely correct. And Mrs. Kini is saying the truth. And we believe her, and we, Mr. Kini, of course, he said, I warn you, ain't no ladies' party. Can you? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, doctor.
I don't know what's happening today. I lost connection so many times. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with this system today.
Yes, doctor.
Really, it's
most of the time we can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the connection today. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, but anyway, here I was reading. This. I'm here on the top of the page. Mrs. Keeney and Keeney speaking together about coming to the sea, and he's saying to her, "You should have, thought about it. That coming to this ship was not easy. You know, that's what he said here. I warned you of the, notice, I warned you what it would be, Annie. Whaling ain't no ladies' tea party. I says to you again. Notice here, really, he's again, in a way, he's saying what he thinks, that she is here with them in the ship, and she should not interfere with their business, because, you know, he said coming to this sailing ship is not. That's why he said, I told you to stay at home, but you did not listen. So now, you know, you should be quiet. And Mrs. Keeney, of course, oh, I know it's not your fault, David. You see, I didn't believe you. I guess I was dreaming about the old Vikings in the storybooks, and I thought you were one of them. And I think, we understand Mrs. Keeney's, imagination, that she was thinking of her husband as being a very tough, strong man at the sea. And that's why she said, I wanted to be with you. Keeney again, protestingly, I done my best to make it as cozy and comfortable as could be. I tried to make this ship easy for you, to make this stay here with this ship as cozy and comfortable as I could, And Mrs. Keeney looks around her in wild scorn. I even sent to the city for that organ for you, thinking it might be something to you. Soon there was comes and thinks was dull like, he's saying, well, I tried to be good, and yes, you were very kind, David. I know that. Then suddenly burst forth. I won't stand it. I can't stand it. Pent up by these walls like a prisoner. She said, I can't stay anymore here, and being kept here like a prisoner. I can't stay anymore. Take me away from here, David. If I don't get away from here, out of this terrible ship, I'll go mad. Take me home, David. I can't think anymore. I feel as if the cold and the silence were crushing down in my brain. I'm afraid. Take me, David. Take me home. Well, maybe again we believe her. She is passionate and she's emotional. She's saying, please, please, please take me back home. Otherwise, I'm going to go mad. I'm really feeling angry and being uneasy. Maybe I'll go mad if I don't go back home. You ain't yourself. You got fever. Your eyes look so strange, like I ain't never seen you look this way. Like this is saying. Well, today we are really in a miserable situation. We are losing all the time connection, and I don't know what you have what you have heard and what you have not, because I don't know. I'm reading and explaining, and then suddenly I realized that I lost connection. Anyway, Mrs. Keeney again laughing, and she said, "You know, I want to go back home." Mrs. Keeney, notice she said, "We can't wait for that. I can't wait. I want to get home, and the men won't for you to keep them. You must sail back. You have got no excuse. There is clear water to the south now." If you have heart, if you have a heart at all, you've got to turn back. Again, Mrs. Keeney urging and asking her husband, please, 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 let's go back home. If you are really a real man with a real heart, then let's go back home, because it's unfair, it's cruel, and it's brutal to keep us here, all of us, men and me. Please, let's go back. And she said, you have no excuse. Keeney again, I can't, Annie. Mrs. Keeney, why can't you? A woman could not rightly understand my reason. Well, according to him, yes, no woman would understand my position. Mrs. Keeney again, because it's a stupid, stubborn reason. You see, this is the idea about will and determination. Here she calls this stupid and stubborn. Really, it's a matter here, you say, well, it's why can't you? Why can't you? And why we women can't understand your reason? She said, because your reason is stupid reason. And it's a stubborn reason. You have no sensible reason. Oh, I heard you. Hello?
Hello, doctor.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, I think this is the worst lecture we've had so far. I don't know what's wrong.
Doctor, if you know how to record a video, then upload it. And instead of the recording cutting off, you can record it offline, then upload it.
Yeah, I know, but you see, this is, yeah. But now I will check the recording and see what, yeah, it's really funny. It's really strange. I don't know what's going on today. Anyway, I was reading, I don't know where it stopped. Here again, as I said, the discussion between Kini and his wife. Kini and his wife about his reason and reputation, and she said this is a stupid reason not to go back. And I think, as I said, she's really completely right about it, about her really accusation. And she said that, to live to your silly reputation, because to her, this is not understood really, if you like. And Kini, of course, saying, it ain't that, Annie. It ain't that, Annie, meaning it's not reputation. Them skippers would never dare sneer at my face. It ain't so much what anyone would say, but he hesitates, struggling to express his meaning. You see, I've always done it since my first voyage as skipper. I always come back with a full ship, and I don't seem right now to somehow. I've been always first wailing skipper out of home port. And don't you see my meaning, Annie? You see, he's saying here, really, he's saying it's not the other people I'm worried about. He said, it's my own feeling. I'm not happy myself because I've always done it. I always came back with a ship full of oil. I don't care about other men. And even the other men would not dare sneer at me. Would not dare sneer at me. He said, I will never, do it because I always came back with a ship full of oil. And really, this is the idea. And he's saying, do you understand that? Can you understand my meaning? And he's begging her really to understand this. And again, Annie, she comes to herself with a start, but best turn in, Annie. There is a good woman. You ain't well. Mrs. Kini resisting his attempts to guide her to the door in rear. David, not yet a while. You don't see my meaning. I got to get the aisle. Again, he's insisting that I need to get the oil. Mrs. Kini, it would be different if you needed the money, but you don't. You've got more than plenty. Again, Kini saying, it ain't the money I'm thinking of. Do you think I am mean as that? Mrs. Kini, no, I don't know. I can't understand. Oh, I want to be alone in the old house once more and see my own kitchen again and hear a woman's voice talking to me and be able to talk to her. 2 years, it seems too long ago, as if I had been dead and could never go back. Well, yeah, we understand that Mrs. Kini really wants to go home because she feels homesick, and she feels, because she's a woman, she needs friends, she needs to talk. As she's saying here, I want to go to my house, to my kitchen, and to hear other women speaking to me, and so on. Kini again, worried by her strange tone and the faraway look in her eyes. Best go to bed, Annie. You ain't well. And Mrs. Kini, I think, again here said very nice. I used to be lonely when you were away. I used to think of Homeport was a stupid, monotonous place. Then I used to go down on the beach, especially when it was windy and the breakers were rolling in, and I would dream for the fine, free life you must be leading. I used to love the sea then, but now I don't ever want to see the sea again. What a shame. Really, what a shame. Yeah, she said, I used to have all these imagination and lovely feelings about the sea. Because of you, I used to go down and look at the sea and love the sea because of you. But now coming here for these 2 years, I really hate everything about the sea. I don't want to see the sea ever again. Kini again. It's no fit place for a woman, that's sure. I was a fool to bring you. After a pause, passing her hand over her eyes with a gesture of pathetic weariness. How long would it take us to reach home if we started now? About 2 months, I reckon, Annie, with fair luck. Mrs. Kini again. That would be August, the latter part of August, wouldn't it? It was the 25th of August we were married, David, wasn't it? Kini trying to conceal the fact that her memories have moved him gruffly. Don't you remember? Mrs. Kini again, vaguely, again passes her hand over her eyes. My memory is leaving me up here in the ice. It was so long ago. It's June now. The lilacs will be all in bloom in the front yard. To the side of they are budding. She suddenly covers her face with her hands and commences to sob. She was trying to really, to make him change his mind and so on. And that's why she brings the idea of marriage and the wedding and all this. Kini again, go in and rest, Annie. You are all wear out. You're all wear out, crying over what can't be helped. Mrs. Kini again, you love me, don't you, David? Again, this is one of the women tactics, using the meaning and the expression here of love, saying, okay, do you love me, David? Kini, love you? What do you ask me such a question, Annie? Why do you ask me such a question, Annie? But you do, don't you, David? Tell me. What happened here? What did I do here? I don't know. Notice here, asking him about love. Kini, I'm your husband, Annie, and you are my wife. Could there be aught but love between us after all these years? Then you do love me, say it. I do, Annie. Mrs. Kini gives a sigh of relief. Her hands drop to her sides. Kini regards her anxiously. She passes her hand across her eyes and murmurs half to herself, I sometimes think I sometimes think if we could only have had a child. This is again here, she's using as maybe people will say, you know, women's tactics. She's saying, you know, we've been married for all these years. You know, she said, I think, you know, why don't we have a child? Kini turns away from her, deeply moved. She grabs his arms and turns him round to face her intensely. And I've always been a good wife to you, haven't I, David? Again, really, this is a lovely thing to say. You know, I've been always a good wife to you. No man ever had a better, Annie. Meaning, yeah, I believe you. No one had ever had a better wife than you. Mrs. Kini again, and I've never asked for much from you. Have I, David? Have I? Again, you know, she's, as you can see, she's trying to ask him to go back. And then he said, you know, you could have all I got the power to give you, Annie. Mrs. Kini, then do this once for me, for my sake, for God's sake. Then do this once for my sake, for God's sake, take me home. You know, this is really her main wish. Please take me home. It's killing me, this life, the brutality and cold and horror of it. I'm going mad. I can't feel the threat in the air. I can hear the silence threatening me day after great day and every day the same. I can't bear it. I will go mad. I know I will. Take me home, David, if you love me, as you say. I'm afraid, for the love of God, take me home. Yeah, I think this is very emotional, and I think he will take her. She throws her arms around him, weeping against his shoulder. His face betrays the tremendous struggle going on with him. He holds her out at arm's length, his expression softening. For a moment, his shoulders sag. He becomes old. His iron spirit weakens as he looks at her tear-stained face. Look at his shoulders sag, means he really weakened and he fell. Kini dragging out the words with an effort. I'll do it, Annie, for your sake, if you say it's needful for you. So you see, Mr. Kini now said, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, I think I will stop here and I'll continue next time, because we still have some time. I hope next time I'll finish this and I will discuss it with you if you have any question. I'm sorry, today as you can see, we've had a lot of stoppages, which is really a bad thing. But anyway, I will stop recording.